Hello once again. We're back with more Mushihimesama, this time with a little bit of a different video for you. So, I started going on to 1.5 Maniac after completing 1.0 Maniac, 1 credit clear, a couple days ago. And I thought it would be fun to show my first kind of playthroughs of this. Credit feeding through the whole game. This is kind of how I start off with a new game or a new mode. I mean, it's probably how most people do it. Also, maybe checking out some super plays, like other good runs of the game. And I think that also it's kind of sometimes it's like the most fun, or it's a different kind of fun. The first time playing through a mode, like. Seeing what's changed, being surprised by things, having to react more to things. Sometimes I feel like I play better. It might just be bias, but I feel like I play better the first time or first couple times I play through a mode. Also trying out the controller cam just for fun. Also just to kind of show what controller I use, and the default gaudy LED setup that I have on it. I really need to change that, but it's kind of entertaining. So this is 1.5 Maniac, and I've played yesterday. I think I did like 1 or 2 runs through it, and I started to practice stage 3. I also watched a couple of playthroughs of it to try to get some ideas for routes, but as far as actual practice, mostly just stage 3 and not very much, as you can see. So I'm going to kind of talk about my first impressions as I go through it. I've played a few times, but it's all still fresh in my head, and yeah, I just recorded this. So we're playing on the W shot type. Wait, no, M power. It's called power, M power. So right away, there's a lot more enemies on stage 1. The other thing is I sat down and just recorded this, like I hadn't really warmed up. So it's kind of funny when you do that after like a day of, doing whatever you do during the day. And everything seems so fast and frantic. Until you kind of get back into the zone. But I'm kind of trying to follow my usual route here, and it kind of works, but there's definitely times where I'm having to react more, and I'm trying to get better about the terms, but like restreaming, so like dodging through a stream of bullets, which I always like to avoid that if I can. I feel like that's more risky thing to do, but yeah, like this, there's a lot more of those little popcorn enemies, and then oh, I should also mention my immediate first impression of this is it's just really fun playing on a faster ship. I'm sure I'll get used to it after a while, but it's always an adjustment because, W versus M, the M is quite a bit faster. Not the fastest, but faster. And also this is 1.5, so there's no super shot. And I'm going to actually spend most of the time with Trace. It's kind of nice because with Trace you can concentrate all of your... that's inexcusable. Well, it's excusable. It's called, skill is the excuse. Bad skill. But this boss seems like is mostly the same. If anything, it's easier because you do more damage with this ship in this mode, I think. So you can get through some of these phases faster. But yeah, I could have probably missed that stage. But I have a bad habit of clipping those edges, and I think because the ship's faster, that's throwing me off a little bit. Stage 2, what I noticed a lot, it's hard to do like a really perfect, like maybe I could do a side-by-side comparison might be kind of cool, but there's definitely more trees they seem to have the same shot type. I'm not sure if the shots are going faster in 1.5 versus 1.0. Or if that's just me not having warmed up. But the route that I naturally would follow seems to be mostly working. And yeah, here I'm just going to wait for the trace power up. This guy, usually on W, I don't hold A for it, so I move at full speed, but I found in order to do that dodge on that first phase, I kind of felt like I needed to sometimes hold A, sometimes not, because it's just... And that's also just not being used to this faster ship speed. Because just remember, this isn't like a... It's not like an analog joystick where you can kind of press lightly on it to get slower movement. You just basically have the two speeds. That's a weird thing to get used to when you've played on games that have analog movement for so much. And I don't know, I felt like the natural path I wanted to follow through here was working pretty well. So like that's why I started practicing on stage 3 right away. Especially the fact that you can kill some of these enemies so much faster with this shot type. So that really seems to help. Like some of the enemies in even later stages, you could kill them before they even get a shot off. I imagine if you're really good with the timing, like the invincibility frames of the enemies, you can do that more reliably. Not sure if it's optimal for scoring, but not going to be going for scoring for a while. And same here, the boss doesn't really feel different, like, at all. If anything, you just, yeah, you finish each phase faster. And it's just really nice being able to move around so fast and macro dodge things that previously you couldn't macro dodge. This was weird. I didn't know that could happen, so I guess I didn't get underneath him fast enough after the previous phase, but I've never had that happen before until I started playing this specific mode. What was I shaking around for? I think I was... I can't remember. I remember that something funny happened. Maybe it's later on. Okay, so this is where I started practicing. These guys are just... This stage 3 feels absolutely brutal compared to... Like 1 and 2 is like, yeah, it's a little bit more enemies. It feels like a little bit harder. But then stage 3 felt like... almost like a brick wall. It felt so much harder. Look at that. That was stupid. That dodge was so lucky. That was the part I was remembering as I wiggled around to remind myself about that. And then this is where the problems begin. So I talked about my strategy here of like sweeping, restreaming, sweeping, and it doesn't work. It's harder to. It seems like it's harder to pull off. I obviously I don't have a like worked out route for this mode yet. So you're just saying my like initial, what do I feel like is the right thing to do? Just reacting. And then these guys, those yellow moths can show up. Yeah, you see when you move a lot, when those black moths show up, whatever they're called, crickets. I don't know. I always call things moths and beetles, and I call things crickets that are actually well, the guys with the like little praying mantises, yeah, on stage 5. I kept calling them crickets. Anyway. And then here you can't just hang out on the left because you've got these popcorn guys coming at you from the right and then from the left. And then here I was nervous about running out of room on the right here before I could break this segment. So, and I moved way too far there. If you do that, then those aimed shots actually become a problem. I'll be interested to see if there's a nice, reliable route to dealing with those swarms of yellow moths, because it seemed... I didn't see a... what's hard to know when you're watching a run somebody uploaded if they were off route and they just managed to react their way through it, or if they have a specific route in mind for dealing with them. That's why I kind of like when people give commentary, and I've had a hard time finding... I've probably not looked hard enough. That's always the issue. But like finding a good walkthrough of how to deal with certain enemies... All I know about is like there's a wiki that has basic information about the game, then you can find videos of people playing the game, but they're usually not commented, or if they are, it's just kind of people like me who... I don't know, if... I feel like there's more experienced people out there who have really good knowledge about how to deal with all this stuff, and the information is just hard to find, or not even out there. It's probably why it's good to, I don't know, maybe there's a Discord or some social media place where people are discussing these things that's not really searchable or in a wiki format. It seems like that this center spine section's maybe a little easier to deal with because of the increased speed and damage. Okay, so here I saw one of the playthroughs did this section bombless, so that was cool, and I wanted to just start trying that. So that's what you're seeing here, and it's this crossover that I didn't get. There's the end of the 1cc. And then I just continue, and yeah, that was just bad timing. I knew that shot was coming, I just didn't move enough. So I'm gonna see how consistent doing that section bombless is, because I think that's really cool. And you do that section so much, I feel like you could get it down really reliably. And then here I'm pretty much doing the same strategy I always do. I like going to the side here because you get so much more reaction time. This was really sketchy. I don't normally go here. I wonder how big the hitbox is, if there's a difference. I felt like maybe the hitbox in this mode is even smaller than 1.0 Maniac, but I don't know for sure. This section I've started being able to do more reliably, and I don't know how. I've like did this weird thing of like flicking my eyes up and down, and somehow that helps me dodge the overlapping patterns. So I think I managed to... Did I manage to no miss the boss? Huh. Anyway, that stage is really going to require some research and practice. And now here, because we're so fast, you can macro dodge these beetles, which I'm trying. I know abstractly. Yeah, that is a micro dodge I do not want to have to try to repeat. So hopefully I can route around that with the stick bugs. And normally I go right here. I just forgot because I was distracted by the beetles. But yeah, the green beetles are the maybe easier to deal with now, because macro dodging means you have a lot more maneuvering room. Seems like this section is mostly the same, but here, this is where they get nasty. There's a lot more of the green beetles. I just peaked my microphone again. If my microphone sounds distorted, it's because I'm talking too loudly into it, something I'm working on. But look at this, 3 of them. I hope there's a way to deal with them reliably. It doesn't require simultaneously micro dodging 3 green beetles. There must be. I think one issue there with how I played it was I wasn't close enough, so that leaves the beetles on the screen for way longer. And then we have the infamous double beetle section, which in another mode I was able to find a like pretty consistent strategy, but then they throw 3 at you here, which I don't think they do in other modes. I mean, other than Ultra. We're just ignoring the existence of Ultra right now. Best not think about it. Other than Novice Ultra. Yeah, there's a lot of slowdown in this mode. I felt like more in 1.0 Maniac. Maybe like when it slows down, it can slow down even slower. And then it has this kind of nasty thing of yeah, a lot more beetles here too. Maybe it's just because I killed the boss faster. What is it? There's a name for that. It's like rubber banding, where it speeds down and slows up. I have the shmup glossary pulled up because I'm sick of using the wrong terms. I'll find it. Yeah, slingshot, that's the term. I feel like there's a lot of that going on. Well, slingshot is specifically when it suddenly speeds up. For this, it's more like speed up, slow down, and like it feels awkward and like not ideal. I don't know, but at least there's slowdown. The snake section, I felt like I could mostly do the same too. And the same general concept applies. Get those water beetles as soon as possible. Because the shot is nice and wide too, you can take out those weak segments of the snake so they don't hit you if you're careful. Take out the water beetles, take out the tails. And then you can still hang out in the bottom right corner and be mostly safe. Although this guy follows... This section, the snakes seem to follow a slightly different route. Yeah, like that guy turning there. But overall, I'm not super concerned about this last part of Stage 4. It's more everything involving the green beetles that I'm gonna be wondering about. And so far, I've only found 2 videos, really, of this mode. I don't know a good resource, like where to look to find good guides on these modes. So maybe I just need to search YouTube more thoroughly. But like, I search the name of the game, the name of the mode, and guide, and I just get people playing the game, so like without commentary. So I don't know what to do about that. And then you're like wonder, should I start practicing now and just figure it out myself? Normally, and again, I'm probably still going to use 4 bombs on this boss. We'll see if I start to get more confident, but I think that'll still be the general plan because the patterns are the same as they are in the other mode. And, I mean, I'll dodge them while I feel confident, but yeah, this one, there's probably an easy way to do that, but then that pattern, I feel like that is just, might as well just bomb that one. So it's like, it's tough because you have to decide, should I start practicing? Or if I start practicing now before finding somebody's better route, because the chance of me coming to this rush and finding the best route through it is, compared to somebody who's been playing this game for way longer, this 20-year-old game. Although I guess this mode was probably in 2011 when this was first available, as opposed to, what is it, like 2004 when the game first came out. But that's still a lot of time for people to develop experience. But I think a lot of the knowledge, I would assume that a lot of the knowledge is more for scoring than clearing. But I don't know. I'm still pretty new to the shmup community and how information is disseminated. Okay, so this section, I mean, I think it's fine to just rewind a little bit. I was spacing out. So normally in this section... Oh, I think I missed it. Wow, you jump a lot in VLC. Normally there's like a power up here, you grab it. Not here. After the next pitcher plant, there's a power up that you... I'm trying to follow my same route, you know, that's what I know from 1.0 Maniac. there's a pitcher plant, and then there's some grass, and there's supposed to be a power-up, and then you grab it. But now they throw a moth at you instead. And because I'm faster, it is easier to clear more enemies. Yeah, I don't know what to do about that section. Dodging grass while also dodging a grasshopper. Maybe if I quick kill the grasshopper, but then they throw another one at you. No, that was it 2 back there when it's usually 1. Well, it's okay. We don't have to do a frame by frame analysis here. Yeah, this wasn't a good way to get through here. But you see it's slowing, I feel like it's slowing down a lot more than usual, so that's giving me more ability to react and micrododge these really tight patterns, but I don't like having to do that because it feels like you could just not find a way through if that's what you're relying on. If you heard the bullets well, though, you can create that space, and that's not something I've mastered. Yeah, this is just improvising. I was trying to follow the route that I follow there. I think I bombed here when I didn't need to, yeah. If I would have gotten hit, the bomb would have been too late. Something that's unfortunate, I think, so I was able to use save states to practice 1.0 Maniac in emulator. The slowdown isn't accurate for emulator, but yeah, this boss I can follow the same pattern. Just didn't get the spacing right there because of the faster movement. And so that let me practice individual segments, which is really important for Stage 3, which is a long one, and the training mode in the game only lets you start at the beginning. So it seems really unfortunate because I don't know that there's an arcade... I don't know that the arcade version of 1.5 is available, and... but I saw that... I mean, well, and then there's the Xbox 360 version. I haven't tried that out. Like, and I just want a way to use save states. Like, I got this on Steam, but the Steam version doesn't have save states. But if you emulate it, you can get save states to make practice easier. There might be a little bit more input latency compared to, playing it natively, but it's really the save states that matters for me. To find better routes and things like that. And I suppose that playing on the Xbox 360 version on an emulator could have worked well for more accurate slowdown. I don't know if there's save states there, but that could be a good option. But the 1.5 isn't available on the Xbox 360 version, so that's not an option. So we'll have to see if I can scrounge up anything, because I really want save state practice. I've played modes where I couldn't do that, and it just makes practice more inefficient. I could see some people saying, like, that's the true experience, and that's what you deserve, and, like, the pros, that's how the pros learned before emulation was a thing. But I personally would prefer not to. Same routing here, just planning to bomb. I think that's good. That whole previous section, though, yeah, the whole post... I don't think there's going to be a huge difference in the routing for pre-mid-boss for this stage, but it seems like post-mid-boss, there'll have to be some changes. It seems like generally, compared to 1.0, there's just more enemies. A lot of enemies are in the same place, but there's sometimes more of them. And I don't know if their HP is different as well. So, or their invincibility frames, because I felt like I was able to get some quick kills that wasn't possible in the other mode. Or maybe it was just the ship I was playing. There's so many variables. Nice to be able to not have to play that whole section. And then this, normally I was bombing here, but I decided to try micrododging here, and I was surprised at how long I could survive. There's probably an even more consistent way. You have to really find a good route, because there's like the lines, and then there's the big waves, and on some other modes I was able to find a really easy way to deal with those, but I haven't done that on any of the Maniac modes, and I haven't seen it either. So maybe I need to study my videos a little more, study other people's videos more. And there we go. So yeah, it was actually really fun playing, you know, seeing all this stuff for like the first time and trying to react to it. But you know, now the serious work begins. Although practicing doesn't, like, I don't find it to be, sometimes it can be really frustrating, for sure. But just go back while we talk a little bit more. Let's go back to earlier. Yeah, the practicing, it's kind of, it can be relaxing or a pleasant activity at times, because I like to just put on some music and turn off everything but the game sounds. Oh man. And I'm really tempted to just permanently turn off the voice, because I'm starting to get really sick of the main character screaming. It haunts my dreams now. But I just turn only the sound effects up, and then I can put on my own music, and it's nice. And you just kind of repeat things, and you do have to be conscientious about, like, what are you practicing, and not just repeating the same thing and screwing up over and over again, because then you're almost like anti-practicing. But it's it can be pleasant as far as gaming activities goes, compared to a run, which is generally a pretty intense activity. So I guess we'll be I'm probably just gonna go check out some more videos and then go keep working on stage 3. I'm wondering whether to focus on practicing a certain stage until I feel like I've gotten a good handle on it, or to spread out my efforts, because I feel like there's kind of some unconscious development that happens when you've exposed yourself to something, so it's good to have some broad exposure to whatever you're learning, in addition to the more focused, spending a lot of time on smaller sections. And that's what I want to... So I want to optimize that free, easy, you know, go to sleep and wake up and now you're just magically better at something just because you've been exposed to it enough. So I'll probably try to do a mix of both and see if I can find a way to play this game with this mode with save states. So I think that's enough rambling of this. There's been credit feeding through this mode. I don't know if it's interesting or not. I definitely will enjoy watching this back and seeing how this playthrough compares to when I eventually clear this mode, assuming that I do, which I think I can do it. And I kind of wish I did that with my other modes too. I kind of want to now, every time I start something new, I just want to record a credit feeding video so I can have a point of reference. And if something takes a really long time to learn, like it's taking more than a month, maybe I'll even do like progress update videos where I try to do a run and see how well I've been doing. So we'll see what comes of that. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Insert fade out here.